Hello to your homegirls. What's up? Another day, another palette. 3 looks, 1 palette. The palette in question is Miss NYX Ultimate Battle Plan. This is the collab with Home Alone. I really wanted this palette. That's the color story. She looks a little questionable here on camera, but we're going to get going. I'm going to use this milky brown in the crease. So no shade names as per usual with NYX Ultimate palettes. For this first look, I wanted to do something a bit graphic. So I'm going into this deep, rich brown and kind of using it as like a graphic liner. And then I'm going to blend that out with this, I'm calling it a spicy pumpkin spice brown. If you're familiar with MAC single shadow lore, it kind of reminds me of Swiss chocolate. I say all the time I'm not really into warm tones on myself. I'm better suited for cooler tones or true neutrals, but I don't mind this one. It's not aggressively Oompa Loompa orange, but it adds a nice, comfortable amount of warmth, and I like it in this palette. It fits right in. I was watching something, so excuse the facial expressions. But yes, I really enjoy this palette and the tones, the colors in this palette. It has a black. I'm very attracted to a palette that has a black in it. I'm going to use that to kind of like do a smoky wing. Stay tuned because at the end of this video, I'll have a complete comprehensive review of this palette. But I would say after this first look, I did have a bit of buyer's remorse, not because I didn't like the quality of the shadows, but I was like, is this needed? I'm going to blend out the black with the pumpkin spice shade. There's a lot of neutrals in here, and I was like, did I need this? Obviously, there's some jewel tone pops, which is so my type of color story. I'm going to go into this chocolate shimmer, which I was very, very, very excited for. But when I put it on my lids, I was a bit overwhelmed. I'm going to do a shimmer gradient and then go for the true gold in this palette and then put that on the lid. These shimmers are really pretty. And again, after this first look, I was like, is this too basic? Going for a bit of more of a muted gold and putting that in the inner corner. What really got me excited about this palette was like, damn, this is really a black girl palette. And I was just complaining about how I'm so used to palettes not going deep enough, but this is a drugstore option that goes very deep, and I like that. So this is the look. I'm going to go ahead and do a base, come back and finish up. I'm going for the pumpkin spice again, and I really like that shade. I was like, I'm going to use it for like a bit of nose contouring. And then I'm doing some brown liner here. This is the ColourPop BFF felt tip liner. This is in the shade Grande, and I'm just gonna intensify that. And y'all know me and this inner corner liner go together real bad now. I feel like I can't get a look off without inner corner liner nowadays. And then using the same shades that were in my crease on the lower lash line and grabbing like this pinky neutral tone to highlight my brow. Gonna use the Fenty Demi Glow. Mine is in the shade Java Jitters for highlighter. For lip, this is gonna be a fun lip. I did the Fenty browned out liner, and this is the e.l.f. O-Face Shimmer Balm. It's so pretty. It's a beautiful fall lip. It really is a balm, so I had to top it with lip oil, and this is a really pretty like everyday lip. I like that. So this is the final look, and with my Urban Decay palette, I felt like I didn't show y'all Space Cowboy as well as I should. So I decided for this video, I was gonna go and do the flash test for all 3 of my looks. And I do end up doing that. So I go into the bathroom, I turn off the lights, and then on back camera with the flash on, I do the flash test. And you're still not catching the glitter here. If I were to put the shimmeriness on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll probably put it at like a 6. It's not all the way up there to a 10, but it's up there. It's pretty, and this is such a melanin queenie look. I loved it. I loved wearing this. Look 2, I'm using a different base. This is Playing in Makeup by Yolando's base. This is in the shade, I don't remember, I'll put it on the screen. I'm using my Makeup in Mario. I always mess this up. Makeup by Mario Eye Prep priming little palette. She is on her last leg. I'm just using the translucent powder from that palette to set the lid. Look 2, this is going to be my favorite look. So I'm going to start with the milky brown shade, and hello to a transition shade for me. Do you know how rare that is for me to come into a palette and have every shade that I need? Going to the deeper chocolate, deepening the crease with that. This is going to be a purple smoky eye. I love a smoky eye. It's not me if I don't do a smoky eye in my 3 looks videos. So that's the purple, and we're going to pack that on the lid for a smoky eye. And hello deep smoky purple. This is beautiful. And again, this is such a dark skin friendly palette, and I'm so wowed by it. Feeling it. The pigment is there, the blendability is there. I'm going to mix a little bit of the purple with the deep crease shade to kind of get a nice blend. This blended like a dream. Smoky eyes is really the best way to tell if your shadows are blendable, and these are really easy to use, blendable, pigmented, nothing to complain about. Also, excuse my scarf. I'm a real woman getting ready for real life. So these are real looks that I'm going outside in. So I'm just getting ready for my day in all 3 of these looks. So I'm continuing to blend, making sure it looks how I want it to look. Then we're going to go into this very mysterious dark shimmer. And I'm just going to top it, use it as like a topper. And I don't really know how to describe this shade. Like it's multi-dimensional. It has like cool undertones to it. It's blue purple. I loved how this looked. I'm going to take another one of those neutrally shimmers and put that in the brow for a little bit of pop. I'm using my tried and true e.l.f. liquid liner for a wing. So I'm going to use the e.l.f. liquid liner for my regular wing towards the end of my eye, but y'all know me in this inner corner wing nowadays. So when I move to the inner corner, I'm going to go into the palette and I'm going to grab the black to do that. And that's a great way if you want to get into the inner corner wing. Use something that isn't so intimidating, like a liquid maybe. Starting off with the shadow. Stamping with the shadow kind of makes the process easier, and it's kind of easier to manipulate, change the shape of if you need. And yeah, this black, I wasn't expecting much. I know we all have very high standards for our blacks, including myself. And for a drugstore black, I'll take it. This is not going to be the last time we use the black, but the black kind of did what she had to do every time I called upon her. All right, I'm going to finish up the inner corner wing here, maybe a little bit of a tutorial. What I like to do is, you see that part of my eye that is tilted down. I'm just, all this is elongating the inner eye. Yeah, that's all I'm doing is elongating the inner eye. And I loved it. Feeling it. It's so feline. And then this Sephora 11 brush is so tea. I mentioned it in my last haul. I'll put that in the cards. And I'm bringing the black into the outer corner as well. And I'm going to blend it out with some of the purple, giving smoky. Again, this is my favorite look out of all 3 of the looks. If you make it to the end of this video, please comment and let me know which one you enjoyed the most. You guys are probably going to like the next one more. But this is just me. I'm going to run this back again and again and again. I loved it. And this was my favorite part. I think this shade here is probably my new favorite inner corner highlight. Just like that mysterious deep shade, this is the lightest shimmer in the palette, and it too is also very multi-dimensional, and it has like these blue sparkles in it. Like, do you see how much fun I have playing with the new palette? Like, how can I stop buying new palettes? It's so fun. So I'm going to go into this red shimmer, and I'm going to top off my blush. This blush is NYX cream blush in the shade Unique. It's a little bit extra. I've been doing too much with my blush lately. I don't know. Girl, the caffeine was hitting, and this is when I figured out, girl, you're crazy. And then I'm going to blend it out, and the shimmer is so pretty. It's really pretty. This blush, it doesn't align with the eye look. The Unique looks very purple, but it kind of blends into my skin and becomes a berry. When we do the flash test, you're going to see that this does look a little bruisey on me. But it's okay. Nothing to die about. Nothing to cry over. This is the e.l.f. Refi dupe, and I love her. It's so good. Ooh, and y'all gonna be so mad at me, but I did buy the Stanley X e.l.f. You know what? I think I'm gonna do a video like putting the stickers on and putting it together, and then we'll discuss it. We'll talk about it. So don't judge me. Judge your mama. With love. I was feeling it. I loved this look so much, talking to myself. I had so much fun doing this makeup this morning. I loved it. And then I was trying to figure out a lip. Taking it there, just like I've been taking it there with blush. This is MAC in Violetta. I'm going to start with a black lipstick as liner. And then to blend out the black, I'm going to use the Violetta. If it's not clear, if you're new here, purple is my favorite color. It's my favorite color of makeup to wear. It is my emotional support color. I am a crazy purple person. I love purple. Always have, always will. It's my favorite color. For the center, I'm going to use this Juvia's Place, the Mauves. This is in the shade 2020. It's a very nude mauve shade, pale mauve shade, perfect for the center of the lip, and then bringing back a little bit of definition with the Violetta. I really love this lip, and in my haul you would have seen that I also picked up all 4 butter glosses from this holiday collection from NYX, and I'm using this purple one. I think it's called, I'll put it on the screen, I don't remember, but the purpley one. And finishing off the lip with that, spraying down my face with the Miss MAC Stay Over, taking off my auntie scarf, looking at the watch, making sure I'm good on time, living my life, girl. This was a good morning. You gotta appreciate them, because I don't have them all the time. So I can look back and appreciate that this was a very nice morning. I enjoyed doing my makeup, enjoyed my coffee, enjoyed my vibes, loved the finished look. I loved this look. Like I said, I'm going to be running this back. This is how I love to play with color in a wearable way. There's nothing flashy or crazy or disruptive about this, but I'm still getting my color fix off, and I loved it. I loved it so much. This was such a cute look. After this little show and tell here, we're going to move into the bathroom. You're going to be able to see the sparkles a little better. Again, yeah, we're at a 6. And y'all know I use brushes with my shimmers, so I always make them toppery. So, yeah. Look 3. Girl, why did I take out them braids and they were still wet? So I had to let them air dry. Starting off with my transition shade. It feels so nice to have a transition shade in a palette. All my brushes were dirty. This was not as chill vibes as yesterday's look. I decided to deepen the crease with the pumpkin spice shade. That's what I'm going to call it. I love when a palette doesn't have shade names and then I make my own. So I can't wait till I give all the shades a name. Yeah, I was in a rush this morning. I had to be out of the house an hour earlier than I'm used to being out of the house. And I just was in a terrible mood. I was looking for the makeup to fix my mood, relieve me of my stress, take my problems away. It did a little bit, but life was still lifing. Look at how stunningly these blend. Very, very good. Okay, we are going into the black. I'm just going to be using this black as a base for the green because I knew that the green wasn't going to give what I needed it to give. Just from using the purple the other day, they are a little bit desaturated. They are jewel tones, but they are, again, desaturated. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just, it is what it is. So in order to make that green pop the way that I wanted it to, I'm going to use the black to be its base. And then I'm going to pack the green on top of it. And when I do that, it works out swiftly. The green is very stunning. It's giving emerald here, so pretty. And this is a holiday palette. I wanted to do a quintessential fall look, and that's exactly what I got. So it all worked out. Green is very pigmented. The black underneath was a good call, and nothing crazy happened. So I'm going to start winging that out with the deep brown, blending it out. Now, I was asking for a lot from this palette here, and it did what I needed it to do. Everything blended out pretty well, but it's still giving drugstore. Did I have to be patient and kind of go in and grab my blending out shades a couple more times than I would have wanted to? Yes. But I think drugstore palettes are really easy to use, are really beginner friendly. So what happens is they make the formula in a way that you can't really mess up. So someone that is a little bit more advanced in eyeshadow probably is going to have to finesse it a lot more than someone that's just, doing a quick look with it, if that makes sense. Grabbing my pumpkin spice to start blending the green into the lid. And I did start to experience some trouble here on this eye right here, but I think it had something to do with my primer, because you can see that hyper brightened area in the middle of my eye, no pigment was wanting to stick onto there. So I don't know if I had something moist on my eye. Sorry if you don't like that word. Something was underneath that primer that made it be in a way that pigment wasn't sticking on. So what I ended up doing was grabbing the brush that I applied the green with. Yeah, you can see nothing is sticking on there and it's just staying bright, staying the primer color. So I grabbed the brush that I used to pack the green on and just trying to get it to blend. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's something on that mixed in with my primer that caused a weird texture. I don't think it has anything to do with the shadow because I didn't really experience that on the other eye. And that's another thing about when you're trying out shadows for the first time or for the first couple of times, you have to kind of think about the different variables. A lot of people will be like, oh, this formula sucks, but they only have one primer. They are not used to switching out techniques, or, I don't believe in bad formula. I believe in, can you make this product work for you for your look and the different kind of techniques that you have. I know some people just want to do eyeshadow the way they want to do eyeshadow. When I first started, I could not work deep to light. I can only do light to deep. It didn't make sense for me, and I hated formulas that kind of made me have to work in reverse. But it is what it is. Sometimes, you got to do what you got to do to get the look off. So we're going to be using this cream shade for the first time in Hello Pigment. I really enjoyed doing this look because I ended up using all the shades that I didn't get to use in the previous two looks. and this cream is so pigmented. And y'all heard me saying that I wanted to give glam to fix my mood. I really wanted to do a real cut crease and like get some concealer out, but I didn't have the time to do all of that. And I mentioned before, like during the day, I'm just gonna put on my shadow and my Shadow Better shadow, and boy did she shadow. This is super pigmented, super opaque, super smooth, awesome, very, very, very good neutral brightening color. Awesome. Bravo, NYX. I just decided on this shade name. Her name is Eggnog, because she's giving holiday, creamy, yummy, spice vibes. I can't wait to name all these shadows. I probably am going to do it and like write it on the back of the shadows. Oh, and in the beginning of the video, I showed y'all the back of the palette because, and I'm probably going to talk about this at the end of the video, I'm finally going to be using this green, and I'm going to put it in between my bright lid and the green to melt them together. But yeah, so NYX in the palette, you'll see a couple of the shades are bordered in red, and they say, you know, these are face pigments, don't use them on your eye. I don't pay attention to that. I know people get very worried about stuff like that. But yeah, just to let you know, I'll probably talk more about it at the end of the video. But yeah, I'm just putting on the green. I started with a brush and wanted to see if I can get a little bit more pigment with my finger, and I was able to. It's a pretty goldish green color. It's gorgeous. The shades in here, it's a good collection of colors. This kind of reminds me of like a martini. Like the shade range, it's kind of like the possibilities are endless. Like so many looks can come out of this palette. So that's what I got so far. I'm going to do the base and I'm going to come back. I didn't even get to finish my eye with y'all. I told y'all it was such a stressful morning. All I did was use that same brown liner that I used in my first look. I did brown wing liner in the front, inner corner eyeliner, and eyeliner in the back. I didn't have time for any lower lash line work. The lip was just too complicated, but I did use 2 of the glosses from the Holiday Butter Glosses. I used both of the nudes, the lighter one and the deeper one. And this is the final look for look 3. I have an idea for another look. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. We'll see. We'll see what it happens towards the end of this video. So I really, really love this look. This is exactly what I was going for. I loved it. Yeah, it's going to look great in the flash test. Here we are, flash test. Hello, brats. I loved it. So pretty, so fall, exactly what I wanted. Yeah. The brats will be proud. It's time. It's time. The holidays are here. Halloween is over. Let's get into this. I don't want to keep y'all here forever. If you've seen all 3 of the looks, thank you for sticking around for the review. Usually I be yapping, but I don't think this deserves all of that. So I'm going to keep it quick and to the point. So this is NYX's Ultimate Battle Plan eyeshadow palette. This is in collaboration with the Home Alone franchise. And as soon as I saw this palette, I knew I had to have it because I have this one. This is the NYX Ultimate Vintage Jean Baby. We'll talk more about that one in a little minute. But when I saw the color story of this one, I knew I had to have it. It's like these colors are just it. And I knew the formula. I know I always get on here talking about something. I'm familiar with the formula. I am familiar with the formula, and I kind of trusted the formula. So yeah, I decided to pick it up. Okay, so this eyeshadow palette retails for $20. That's how much NYX's Ultimate eyeshadow palettes usually retail for. And It's a little bit of a, excuse me, for a drugstore palette, but upon further thinking, even though this palette is very small and in plastic packaging, this is a lot of shades. This is 16 shades, is that correct? 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yep, 16 shades in here, and that's a lot of shades. In the drugstore, you'll usually find quads, quints, and 9-pans. It's very rare to find a palette with a lot of shades in the drugstore. So yeah, the price is a little jarring for the drugstore, but it's very cool to have this many shades in such a small palette. And NYX doesn't really put out trash. They don't like to put their name on garbage. So, you know, I fool with NYX. So let's first talk about this packaging. The Home Alone collab is kind of what got me interested in it. Home Alone is a freaking classic. It's such a good movie. But when we talk about the packaging on this palette, there's not much reference to Home Alone. All they have is the branding. Sorry, I try to get my ring light out of any reflections. They just have the Home Alone branding, and then they have, you know, there's a lot of mischief and carrying on that happens in Home Alone. So they have broken Christmas ornaments and paint cans and like fire, blah, blah, blah. And it's cute in a red rim. Yeah, super cute. In comparison to how they usually package, it's just like that, just black. So it's a little bit of razzle dazzle for the holiday, but not much. And NYX doesn't do much as far as packaging goes. They don't do too much razzle dazzle. And in the palette, I love this shade. We'll talk about the colors and the formula soon, but there is there's imprints in some of the mattes, in all of the mattes, the broken ornaments and the same paint cans that are on the front of the palette. So as far as packaging goes, I really enjoy packaging. And I have a lot of IP stuff in my collection. I think it's really fun. This is amongst the lower quality that I've seen, but they kept everything their same price, and they just did a collab with Beetlejuice for Halloween, and they did a really good job with packaging there. I didn't need that palette. A lot of people really love that palette, and I have no doubt it was beautiful because NYX does a good product. But the packaging was super cute and like off kilter and very Halloween-y. So I would rate that like a 9, a 10. They did a really good job with Beetlejuice. But this, I really, you know, kind of have no rating because they didn't do much. I would have to rate them poorly with like a 2 because there's not much effort that went into this. But it's pretty cute, and that's okay because even though this is like holiday-ish, branded to be holiday, I love this color story so much. This is not just gonna be a holiday palette for me. So it's okay that it's not like hyper holiday palette. So what NYX decided to do NYX always does something for the holidays. They always like do fun little cutesy stuff for the holidays. So they have their own little cutesy holiday things going on. And it's really just like, they're doing it like a mischievous vibe, which aligns with the Home Alone. And they have a lot of products just Christmas holiday branded. I did make an order with NYX before they dropped the palette. And I bought all 4 of the butter glosses just from their regular holiday line, and they are super cute. I used these 3 in the looks I would have shared with you all. I was wearing these 2 today. I put on a different lip gloss. I wanted to do another look. I wanted to really do a holiday look and wear this and do like a red lip, but girl, ain't nobody got time for all that. I wanted to do, like, y'all know I love a mismatch eye, so I wanted to do like a red eye and a green eye with just a smoky wing. I thought that would have been cute, but I might wear that to put my Christmas tree up. I did pick up my Christmas tree and I'm gonna put it up soon, so I might wear that. So yeah, so they have their regular, just like their regular stuff, not Home Alone branded. They look like they're within the same collection, but some stuff is Home Alone branded and other things are not. So the lip glosses is just part of their regular line. And, you know, to get back to the packaging, you know, Kevin doing that is only on a trio of lip oils, the fat oils. And then they also have like a trio of fat oils just in the regular Christmas line too. So it's different things. They have a lot of different things in the Home Alone collection. They have an advent calendar for like $110. I don't do advent calendars. They have a mystery box, I believe, for like $70, but they show you everything that's in the box, which I enjoy. I also don't do mystery boxes. I don't need it. Yeah, it's a lot of cute stuff, cutesy stuff. Oh, they have a tin of mini lippies for, I think, for like $50. It's super cute. The packaging is super cute. Will make a fun gift for someone. Oh, they also have boxes of the pizza with different butter glosses. Like they have a red one with the pinks and the reds, and then they have a green box with all the nudes. It's super cute. It's really cute. It's fun. And NYX product is really freaking good. So yeah, that's like the holiday vibe they got going on. It's really fun. NYX product is, you know, you can't go wrong with it. So let's get into the palette and what I feel about it. Now, when I was doing the looks, you would have heard me say that I felt a little bit of remorse about picking this up because I started with the neutrals, and my favorite kind of palette is this kind of palette, a neutral palette with some pops of color, or a colorful palette with some pops of neutral. I need both. I require both to get my looks off. So I did the first look and I was like, I mean, I could have done this with other palettes that I have. Like, why did I feel so connected to this palette? But the first look was very basic, but it looked really good. And I haven't like done golds and stuff in a while. So it looked really, really good. And all these like deep browns and these jewel tones, they do something to me. I was so intrigued by this like this bronzy, oh yeah, see, when I put it on my eye, I didn't do all that because y'all know I don't be I only use brushes, so next time I use that I gotta use my finger. But there's some really special deep tones in here. So then when I went to do my second look, I was like, hold up. Am I not complaining about a palette not going deep enough? And I realized that that's why I was attracted to it. It's a palette that goes so deep. And I'm not complaining about the palette not going deep enough. And I have everything I need in this one palette. I am not used to that. I'm not used to palettes having everything I need right there. I'm actually just so used to like grabbing 2-3 palettes. It's not even a thing. It doesn't even bother me because it is what it is. But after using this, I was like, damn, this is a full-on complete palette. I haven't had a complete palette. I can't think of one. I can't think of a palette that I own that isn't missing just one thing that I need to go elsewhere for. Maybe Unearthly Warms My Blood might be pretty complete, but that's super warm. I don't know. And then the tones of these colors, like I told y'all, I named this pumpkin spice. It doesn't go very warm and it doesn't go very cool. It's very neutral. And even though this is a very deep color story that is approved by someone of my complexion, it will also work well for other skin tones, lighter skin tones. If you're interested in darker colors, if you want to start playing around with darker colors, you want to start playing around with the black, it's still that drugstore formula that's very easy to use, that isn't too saturated and too scary to use. So it's easy to use, and it's not insanely pigmented that it will scare a beginner off, but it's pigmented enough to do what it has to do. So I'm super happy with this. It's so many pretty tones in here. Like, they're just so pretty. Oh my God. It's really pretty. I mentioned that this like mysterious shade, I didn't know. It's kind of like plum meets gunmetal meets purple. Absolutely stunning. So beautiful. Now, I don't think this palette is glam enough to wear to holiday parties. That's just me. I'm a glam bitch. I like to be at a 10. I mentioned I feel like this palette is at a 6 when it comes to like glitz and glam. It's pretty, it's wearable, it's easy to wear. This is a great everyday palette for me. I can do lots of looks with this, and I actually have a lot of appointments coming up in November. I'm gonna be pulling this out. I'm not the type to pan palettes. I have too many palettes, but I can see myself panning this. Y'all hear me mention this as a transition shade. When do I ever go into a palette and the transition shade is just my transition shade? Sometimes this is the fun thing about trying palettes. You're gonna keep going until you find your palette, and you can totally put singles together, you know, make the perfect palette for you. I feel like that's kind of the best thing when it comes to various complexions. You kind of have to put your stuff together, but pre-made palettes, if you're not into that, it's very difficult to kind of like find the one for you. And this is kind of a palette for me. Everything is here. I have a transition shade. I have deep darks in various colors. Like, usually there's like one dark shade that I gotta make work for all my looks. I have 4 deep shades that I can work with. And a black is such a crucial color in a palette because you can deepen any color with black. You can make it darker with black. So it's just so cool that there's a black in here. I'm really happy with this color story. I used every single shade in this palette. I enjoyed them all. These 2 I kind of used, you know, just to highlight the brow. I did a little bit of blusher with this. Amazing palette. I mean, it's kind of what I expected from NYX. And I was so confident to pick this one up. Hold up, let me get some of this stuff off of me. So confident to pick this up because this is one of my favorite palettes in my collection. This is the NYX Ultimate Vintage Jean Baby. This also retails for 20 bucks. And I'm gonna get Mario's Moonlight palette, but because I own this, I almost talked myself out of it because of this. This palette is stunning. It's so pretty. This is one of those palettes that whenever I do looks with it and I go out, I get so many compliments. This is such a dope color story to be in the drugstore. Like, this is like some highly stylized, curated, dope color story. It's really pretty. The only qualm I have with this palette is that I have all these beautiful blues down here, but then when I like seek to blend them, like I was doing all that beautiful blending with the Home Alone palette, it can kind of blend into one color, which sucks. And kind of like that's when it's starting to rear its drugstore head, like, this is a cheaper formula. You're not gonna be able to retain all these beautiful colors in your blending. But this palette is stunning too. The shimmers are cray in here. That's so multi-dimensional. I do feel like the shimmers in this one are a little bit heightened than in the Home Alone palette. I kind of expected the shimmers to go off more in the Home Alone palette since it is a holiday palette, but they're good enough. It's good enough. Yeah, so that's why I picked that one up, because I love this one. And yeah, very happy with this. If you have singles, if you have a neutral palette with pops of color that you enjoy, you do not need to pick that up. But if you are someone like me who struggles to find palettes that go deep enough, this is such a good Black girl palette, and I have to rave about it for that. I really was gonna get on, I thought I was gonna get on here and like say leave it alone, but because it goes so deep, I have to recommend it. I have to like tell the girls and push this out to the girls that struggle to find a palette that suits their complexion. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I loved all the looks that I did. This one is so pretty. I love it. Yeah, that's it. Oh gosh, thank you all for 100 subs. I got to 100 subs and I'm so excited. I'm so happy. It's so motivating for me to post more videos. So I'm excited. I'm gonna have so much fun on here. You will be seeing, I'm definitely going to pick up Mario's palette when my part of the sale comes around, so be on the lookout for that. I'm going to try not to buy any more palettes for the rest of the year, but I'll tell you what's on my wish list. I'm definitely getting Mario's palette. I want that Lancome Ex Louvre. It's last year's Lancome holiday palette, and it's currently on sale, but it's around the same price as Mario's palette is. So I'm giving Mario's palette precedent. So if Macy's does Black Friday, which I'm sure 100% sure that they're going to do, that's probably going to be my Black Friday purchase. You guys will be very proud of me. I talked myself out of Danessa Meyrick's Lightwork 6 because I don't need it. I was talking myself into it because of the packaging, but I have pretty shimmers that I can travel with. I can travel with Pat McGrath's Astral Quad. Yeah, I have pretty shimmery things I can travel with, so I'm okay with that. And I love Lightwork 5 so much. Did I say I talked myself out of Lightwork 6? Because that's what I did. I love Lightwork 5 so much that it don't need no competition in my collection if I'm keeping it a bean. What else? Oh, if Bella Beauté Bar has a good Black Friday sale, I'll probably pick up the Ultraviolet palette. I've been wanting that for a while, but that indie is priced like luxury or you know, mid-tier Sephora product. So I would like to purchase that on sale if I could. I've been wanting that palette for a while. It went out of stock, so it's on a restock now. So I do want to catch it before it goes out of stock again, if it is going to go out of stock. What else? Oh, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I don't like the Lethal palette that's about to come out, because Lethal's formula is so damn good. That's such a good formula. I only have a couple of signals, but just the packaging looks good. I didn't pick up any of the Avatar because I didn't need it. So I'm just hoping that I don't like the color story, but if I do, I'm probably gonna get it because Lethal's that girl. Okay, y'all, that's it I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a like, comment, let me know which look you like the most. Let me know if you're interested in this collection, or what holiday collection is catching your eye. I'm happy to stick with cheaper NYX. Like, I'm not really checking for any holiday after this. So even though I feel like I picked up a bit of holiday already. Oh, I wanted to compare this to the Odin's Eye Christmas palette. Okay, so this is the Odin's Eye Merry Christmas palette. I picked this up last year on the restock, and this is the ultimate Christmas palette. And when I was using the NYX palette, I did think of this palette, and I do think NYX pulled a lot of their inspiration from this palette. Now, this Odin's Eye palette is the ultimate Christmas palette. I have a video using this one and the Christmas Eve one, and this is like the Christmas palette. It's literally perfect. It's so glam. It's so pretty. So comparing the color story of both, you definitely got your golds, and you got your green, you got your red, you got your like neutrally colored shimmers. So I definitely feel like they took inspiration from this very popular indie palette, and they did a good job with their version as well. So even with the pumpkin spice shade, I feel like they did the same thing. They went above and beyond and gave us a good light, mid, deep, or even more light, a couple mids and a deep. That's awesome. Yeah, they did a good job. I do think that they took inspiration from the Odin's Eye palette. This one is, the shimmers are a little bit more special, and I would wear this to a Christmas party. This one, I just feel like it's a little bit more everyday, a little bit more casual. Okay, I didn't want to talk too much, but I think this got ahead of me. I love you all so much. Bye-bye.